begin transmission. To the young artisan armorers of Shiraz Keep, this is Blade Master Lorok Sherazai. I fear I will not be able to complete your instruction, for a dark revelation has come to light, and with it, a great shame looms over me. For this reason, I go to Vadam Keep, so that either I can atone for my dishonor before the Arbiter, or die at his hand, thereby restoring the honor of our keep. But, as a Blade Master, I feel it my duty to leave behind one last instruction for you all, to learn the inner workings of the symbol of Sangheili martial integrity and honor, and their influence over our proud warrior culture. In this way, you may not repeat the follies of which now shame me to this day. With that, here is a detailed account of the Fireblades of the Sangheili, otherwise known as the Plasma Blades, or known more commonly, the Energy Sword. To speak of today's energy swords, we must first go back centuries in earlier epochs of Sanghelios, long before the formation of the Covenant. In those days, our forebears went into battle wielding twin scythes and the esteemed curved blades. These are fairly simple weapons, consisting of a single blade and a right angle handle. Though in this, our modern day, the blades are designed through the use of metals amongst the keeps. The earliest curved blades were crafted among hardened resin, found amongst the trees which lined the coastal plains of Sanghelios. The blade was historically used for hunting and close quarters combat, becoming the standards in those roles long before the formation of the Covenant, though variants of the ancient design continued to be used centuries later. The wisest of warriors have even carved ancient proverbs into their swords, so that their wisdom could be passed down generation after generation. In time, the quarter moon blade would also come to pass, a curved knife that drew much inspiration from the curved blade. This inspiration would be carried down throughout the ages, forming the foundation for more modern blades in the time between the former age and the rise of the Covenant. The first of these were the burn blades, first crafted by the arms masters of Kikost, one of the moons of Sanghelios. The burn blade was ubiquitous amongst the early periods of Sangheili interstellar expansion, long before the formation of the Covenant. They were forged from metal and heated from within, dealing devastating damage on their targets. When active, the intense heat causes the weapon's metal to glow burning red from within. From a short distance, the burned blade's heat could scorch the exposed skin of any nearby foe. The blade charred when it did not cut without cauterizing. They were not unlike their more advanced counterparts, for they were powered by a charger within the sword and can activate by a button from within the hilt. Burn blades were common amongst our Sangheili warriors when the Writ of Union was signed and the Covenant took shape. In its earliest years, many of them found use by the outlaw Kaidan, Usa Zelos, and his adherents when they refused to pay tribute to the prophets. Their descendants, the Usans, sequestered themselves from the rest of the galaxy from within the shield world known as the Refuge. They continued to make use of this weapon into the modern era, and throughout their self-imposed exile, they made use of it in a sport they come to call float fighting, the exact manner of which still eludes me. Yet when the Usans rejoined our kin following the fall of the Covenant, these ancient blades have now seen a sort of resurgence of popularity, particularly among human pirates and rogues. But as the Covenant Empire grew further and became more advanced, the burn blades would in time be quickly phased out with a far more advanced form of blade, the Fireblades, otherwise known as energy swords. It is a noble and ancient weapon, wielded by the strongest of Sangheili. It demands great skill and bravery to use, for it inspires fear in those who face its elegant plasma blade. Fireblades are remarkably proficient melee weapons, formerly used by the now dead Empire for countless ages. Superheated plasma enclosed into tightly configured magnetic fields form the weapon's razor-sharp twin blades, alarmingly lethal in the hands of a skilled warrior. The blades themselves are capable of burning through both flesh and armor, and when wielded effectively, can easily sever limbs and puncture vital organs. Yet, it has one great flaw. It is purely a close-quarters weapon. Any combat engagement outside of the effective range puts the wielder at a disadvantage. It is for this reason that a Sangheili warrior can only effectively use the plasma blade in two different ways: by funneling the enemy into close quarters to allow them to strike, or by form of stealth by using both technology and guile. Without these, its master is vulnerable to most range attacks. Furthermore, the energy sword can at times expose the position of a Sangheili warrior employing active camouflage due to the weapon's high energy output. The hilt itself is powered by a small battery that supplies power to both the plasma and magnetic field generators. The energy is reduced after each successful strike. Once the battery power is fully exhausted, the blade will deactivate unless fully recharged. In the complex honor economy of the Covenant's warriors, close-range kills that demonstrate artfulness and martial skills were highly prized. And with that, many offshoots of the Fireblades arose for a greater chance of glory with their skills. The Energy Dagger is one of these. It is a Sangheili adaptation of the Forerunner blade tools. Many have been integrated into combat harnesses, particularly the Aldruga pattern, the Talapias pattern, the Buasai pattern, and many others. Unlike the energy sword, however, it ends in a single point as opposed to the dual prongs of the energy sword. It is mounted into a device worn at the wrist of a user. Its wearer might even use the twin daggers simultaneously, one in each wrist. Some of the Fireblade patterns, most notably the Pelosus pattern, contains a failsafe mechanism that can permanently disable the weapon if a Sangheili warrior drops it. When dropped, its failsafe engages by deactivating the magnetic fields before dispersing the plasma. The plasma then consumes the handle and thus destroys the weapon. This was in place to prevent enemy capture during the height of the Covenant's war against the humans. These and many other patterns were mass-produced all across the Covenant Empire. The merchants of Kikost are amongst the oldest manufacturers of the plasma blades, for its arms masters are without equal in their craftsmanship. Though the foremost manufacturers of the blades hailed from the assembly forges prior to High Charity's fall. Most generally feature a simple hilt design, but more individualized models can be quite ornate. Different patterns are typically expressed through the shape of their blades, different contours that can have either smooth curves or elegant angles. Furthermore, the color of the superheated plasma can vary with no difference between them, though most energy swords glow with a blue tint. But the most infamous variation of these are the crimson blades wielded by the warriors of the Silent Shadow, of which the humans came to call blood blades on account of the color of their own blood. And that name is far more apt, for many such blades have tasted the blood of humans as well as traitors. The Fireblade is the living embodiment of our people's warrior legacy, and its usage has and always will be regarded as both an expression of a warrior's clerical honor and his personal combat skills. We Sangheili pride ourselves in the mastery of such a weapon, which is regarded as a holy instrument. For it is better for a Sangheili to fall upon his own sword to redeem his honor, rather than to die in shame. Many techniques have been developed over the centuries by master swordsmen to inflict swift and devastating blows on those they slew. The Vizak form consists of the use of dual-wielded energy swords for the most proficient warriors. Even arbiters were known to master the craft, such as Fal Chavami, known to history as the Defiant One, and the savage arbiter of Malarok, Ripple Morami. The Ayin technique was developed by the master swordsman Xiobel Ayin. It requires its user to move in extremely systematic sequence to allow them to quickly detect an opponent's strength and weaknesses by mentally cataloging said opponent's block to use its user's feints and attacks. This is taught in the fortress of Dayavu, and the best way to counter it is by feigning incompetence. Many warriors of Sumai Keep are taught this method, and it serves them quite well. Other martial arts are known to exist, many of them far too numerous to recount here. Mastery of such arts, however, earns one a high state of renown in Sangheili's society, and those who prove their mettle are given the mantle of Blade Master. Those who become Blade Master earn the honorary I to their clan names, though other variations are known to exist. These are aristocratic mantles one wears with honor and pride. To denote their master rank, Blade Masters are oft given gilded harnesses, so that all who may encounter these legendary warriors know of their ferocity and valor. Blade Masters are the only ones permitted to wield the energy sword beyond military service. Once he receives his Fireblade, he can no longer take any female to wife, but is permitted to mate with any of his choosing, married or otherwise, in order to pass on his swordsman genes down to the next generation. He may even be allowed to reign as the Kaidan of his keep, as many colony worlds can boast. Both during and after the time of the Covenant, many patterns of Fireblades have been forged for the use of our warriors in battle. Throughout much of the later years of the Covenant's war against humanity, the Pelosis pattern saw much popularity, whereas the Demotos pattern saw a great resurgence following the Empire's collapse and the beginning of the Blooding Years, as well as the Zokotos pattern with its strange blade shape. And now, the merchants of Kikost have forged a new model, the Meloth Kelos pattern, and they have become a favorite among mercenaries who have flocked to the banners of Atriox and his Banished. In the countless ages of Sanghelios and her daughter colonies, some of the greatest Sangheili swordsmasters alter their weapons to match their unique taste and styles of combat, as well as an aesthetic that echoes their own renown and the ancient, enduring sagas which have contributed to it. Darkstar and the Light of Jory, the purple and yellow blades named in honor of the gods of our ancient mythology. The white blade Evocate's Edge, wielded by the members of that order. The Lance of Suban, made by infused Subanese crystals. And the Kaidan's Guard, the orange blades of the Swords of Sanghelios. The plasma blades of Imdama Keep are especially barbaric by our own standards, for they burn less intensely, harder to cut armor, but the injuries are more grievous and do not cauterize. In so doing, they leave a Sangheili warrior alive, but far too wounded for combat. Most choose suicide as a result, so that their honor remains intact. No self-respecting artisan armor would ever be so low as to permit such practices. Remember that. Some weapons and armor which came to be recognized as more than tools, as possessing the heart of a warrior, however small, are highly treasured and stored away, a reservoir of glory and honor that can be redeemed in times of great need. One such is the duelist blade of Toha Sumai, a legendary blade master who has taught many proficient warriors, such as his nephew, Uze Taham. That blade has since been lost, however, when his former pupil, Orkro Vagadoon, slew Sumai with his own sword and took it for his own. A great shame, slaying your master and taking his blade as if it was some damn trophy. That Nishum is no true blade master, for he gained that title by a Sanshum minister, only to later rebel against his serpent neck masters. Now he is one of Aatrox's mad blood-starved dogs, enforcing his will across the galaxy. Another such artifact is the Arbiter's chosen blade, an ancient blade taken from his clan's vault and given new life, new purpose, and new foes to slay. The old name of the blade was told in stories and songs dating to before the Writ of Union, but the Arbiter took the unusual step of reforging the weapon, preserving its honor and history, but changing its destiny. While the weapon was repaired and regrown in the traditional manner of his clan's forge, the Arbiter insisted on incorporating components of the same energy blade that took the lifeblood of the Prophet of Truth on the Ark. Sangheili relic weapons are seldom named by the wielder. They must acquire an identity from fearful whispers and roaring shouts. But it was not long after before the Arbiter's blade was known across Sangheili space as an instrument of change and self-determination. A true inheritor of the original Swords of Sanghelios. And so it is that Thel Vadam, who bears the title of Kaidan, Arbiter, Supreme Commander, Judge, Trader, and Leader, wields the Prophet's Bane, and perhaps the Covenant's End. A truly remarkable weapon in the hands of a remarkable warrior and ruler. In my own arrogance, I thought I could aid in the forging of a weapon that could surpass such glorious swords, and rose to become a glory such as the galaxy has never seen before. And so, the Ghost Pierce came into being. Though it began as an untested blood blade, Jaga Erdamnai's personal weapon of choice during his service within the Silent Shadow. When this Blade Master miraculously survived a deadly explosion during a high-priority hunt, he made certain that the remains of his once lethal blade underwent the same transformation as he himself did, guaranteeing that they would be reunited in battle once more. The surviving hilt was brought to the artisan armorers of Shiraz Keep, our keep. We are known for showing far greater loyalty to individuals of great renown rather than blind service to an overarching empire. I myself was overconfident and ambitious. I aided my fellow arms masters in perfecting the blade as it was installed on his unnatural prosthetic arm. That blade was ultimately reforged as the Ghost Pierce. I believed I had forged something unique, something that would leave a mark upon the sagas of Sangheili for countless ages to come. And so it shall, but not as a celebrated symbol of prowess or honor, but as a symbol of malice, savagery, and treachery. Not even the wisest amongst us could have known that Jagar Udamnai would use his blade to cut a swath throughout the galaxy on behalf of the Banished, a force that has proven to be a threat to both the Sangheili and others. The shame that blade inflicts is a shame we all possess. While many of our elders seem less concerned by it, I can brook such disgrace no longer. I go to seek either redemption for our line, or to certain death, so that my blood may wash away our taint. Now, I hope this lesson will help you prevent the same mistakes we have made, that I have made. The Fireblade is the beating heart of Sangheili culture, and must never, ever be tainted, for its lethality is matched only with its precision, and must be tempered with patience and honor.